What is Indiegraf? We really see ourselves as the operating system for independent local media. We're all about helping local media publishers defend their independence. And of course, as we're gathered here today, some of the key strategies to doing so is growing your audience, growing your revenue. So we were started in 2020 by local journalism innovators, and this is really a mission-driven technology and services company. We're incorporated in both Canada and the US. In a moment, you'll be able to see exactly how many publishers we serve, where we publish them. We work in both English and Spanish, and we do have that focus on underserved communities. We support all kinds of sizes and shapes and types of publishers, digital media, newspapers, public media, radio organizations. And we're backed by a number of different impact and tech funders, including Knight Foundation. I'm sure everyone in the room familiar with them, New Media Ventures, Corliss, Public Media Venture Group, and others. So we power 180 plus local media organizations throughout the US and Canada and also Latin America. And you can see just a few of those partners here and a few of the options that we bring. And I myself, as we'll hear in a moment, I'm newer to the Indiegraf team with the recent acquisition of Hearken. It's an incredible group of people. Like it's really, these are mission-driven people who have come together. We have all spent a long time working in and with independent local journalists, and we came together to build the tools that we wish we had to do that work. So you'll be hearing from me today. Hi, I'm Bridget Thoreson. I am the Director of Local Media Partnerships here at Indiegraf. I joined in February. Also presenting today will be Allison, who is our Senior Product Strategist. And not on the slide, but joining on the call is Carol, who is the Director of our Product Offerings. Hi, Carol. Thank you so much for joining today. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? After you have just heard the introduction to Indiegraf, I'm going to talk a bit about Hearken, which is where I come from and which has deep, deep roots in public media. I think some of you in the room today are familiar with us. And then we're going to go over the digital transformation program for public media. This is an incredible opportunity to have your work and your tech and services sponsored that we're really excited to share with you. And then you'll be able to see a demo, this radio first operating system that Indiegraf offers. Q&A, of course, but please feel free to ask your questions throughout. We are here to respond to you. We want to be sure we're presenting what you want to know. So if that all sounds good, we're going to go into what exactly this operating system offers for independent local news. This is really a mission-driven, infrastructure. And we have these pillars that we are working across to be able to defend the independence of local media organizations. That's diversifying your funding, owning your audience, and collaborating with others. We're more than a tech vendor. We provide the infrastructure that protects that independence for local news. As AI changes how people find information, community trust is really our best defense. So our goal is to help you move away from the cycle of constantly seeking grants, funding sources, chasing, those sources of funding and support to help you build steady, recurring income. And part of how we do that now is Hearken. So as I mentioned, I joined Indiegraf from Hearken in February. Hearken was founded 11 years ago, growing out of public media. If any of you are familiar with WBEZ's Curious City, that's where Hearken came from. And we have worked since more than 50 public media partners. You see just a couple of those names here on the screen. There are many, many more we could point to drive public power journalism. It was built with the mission focus of public media in mind, and built specifically by busy journalists for busy journalists, frankly. So these tools, which are now part of Indiegraf's offering, help you build trust and relationships with audiences and with the communities that you're aiming to serve. We've seen that Hearken-powered stories lead to 2 to 5 times higher subscriber signups, and 50% of the newsletter opt-ins across the newsrooms we've worked with are new to the newsroom. So half of the people who have signed up through an interaction through the Hearken tool have been completely new to those organizations' database. This is a proven model used by some of the best in the business. And I will say, having worked at Hearken, one of the wonderful things about working with us is not only that this is a tool built specifically with the idea of public power journalism in mind, but also we've got all of these case studies from all of these incredible outlets that have used this process to generate really significant results for their operations. And part of the fun is just seeing like how they've used this public powered model to drive those results. And this is where we get to what we're so excited to share with you today, how Indiegraf's approach can really help solve transformation paralysis. I know it's hard to update, upgrade, change your tech, change your platforms. We've got so many tabs open on the top of our screens. There's so much to do. And a lot of leaders feel stuck because they have too many tools that don't talk to each other, right? Indiegraph solves this with an end-to-end platform. It's not just software, it's real people support. We're all here talking to you today. And we've got many, many more team members here ready to serve your needs. We act as your partners to make sure that the technology actually works for your team. So the Harken acquisition means there's even more expertise to engage your audience and that public media route. All right. Anything else? And I want to check in quick with my colleague here who mentioned something about the recording. Is the recording going okay? Can we confirm? Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So again, please feel free to pop in the chat anytime, ask your questions. And with that, I will hand things over to Allison to tell you a little bit more about what specifically we're offering our public media partners. Allison?
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, with our digital transformation for public media program, it is a kind of 2 or 3 year program, and our goal is to make it easier for people in the public media environment to make the tech changes that we know are needed. So the way that we are doing this is by providing a subsidy to make the transition to Indiegraph technology. So with year one, the goal is to give everyone 70% off of the technology subscription, so that base infrastructure that Bridget was talking about, and then also 50% off of what we call expert services. So this could be things like migrating you from your old website to our new one, or it could be things like audience growth, development projects. It could be things like audience product or ad product audits. So like Bridget mentioned, we really work to be a full partner of newsrooms. And so we are working to actually give you capacity back and to help you do the things that you need to do to diversify your revenue, strengthen your engagement with your audience, and really just build a super strong digital product. Year two, those discounts go from, on the tech side, 70% off down to 50% off, but still a nice substantial discount. And we kind of ease you into that full cost of the platform in year two, so that by year three, you've had a little bit of time to get established, get used to the tools, and have a line in your budget so that you can confidently cover your own technology costs. And so you're probably wondering who can apply. Well, we want everyone who is a nonprofit, of course, to apply. You have to be based in the United States. Ideally, you're operating as a nonprofit local media station, but if you are a for-profit, there's 2 areas where you can get approval. So one is serving an underserved geographic region. So this could be a news desert. Maybe you're the only publication out there. Maybe there's one more, but you are serving a community that really needs local news. The other one is serving like a community that is also underserved. So this could be like LGBTQ. This could be, immigrant people in the United States. It could be a religious minority. So you are producing local journalism that is specifically for an underserved community. If you're not sure if you qualify, I definitely recommend heading to our page, learning a little bit more about it, and feel free to apply. If you do apply, you're not locked into anything, you're not promising anything, so don't hesitate to submit the application. We can let you know if you qualify, and we can kind of go from there. All right. And so now what we can do is I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through a bit of a demo. So first thing I'm going to do is show you the front end of Heartland Signal. And they are our first, I guess, our first radio first publishers. So I'm excited to really show you the front end of their website. And then I'm going to take you into the back end of our staging site to show you how you can actually utilize the tools that I'm showcasing. Okay, so like Bridget mentioned, Indiegraph is evolving from just a standard CMS into a comprehensive operating system. And it has a lot of tools and features that are specifically built for public media. So Indiegraph isn't just hosting your website. We've done things like integrate live audio streaming, program scheduling, audience engagement, and diverse revenue tools into a unified workflow. So our goal is to help you maximize your community impact by consolidating your vendor relationships, lowering your expenses, and giving you that time back that you need to focus on your mission. So this here is just the Heartland Signal homepage, and the first thing that you might notice is the audio player down at the bottom. So this is a fixed player that is going to feature any live program or anything that's actually running right now. And it is going to stay visible as you scroll, so it's kind of pinned to that bottom on both desktop as well as mobile. It's a persistent player, so that means if you click over to a different page, an article you're reading, that audio stream is not going to be interrupted. Okay, so now let's head to their WCPT 820 radio landing page. They've done a beautiful job designing this. It's gorgeous, and you'll notice here that we have a live now or a listen live block. This is works simultaneously with the bar down here at the bottom. So if I clicked play here or if I clicked play here, it's going to sync up, and again, that player is going to follow listeners across the website. If we scroll down a little bit more, you're going to see some of our custom blocks. So this one here is our featured programs block, and it is manually populated with up to 5 programs. So maybe you want to showcase a specific content collection, or perhaps you want to showcase your most popular shows. It just makes it really easy to do things like promote the things that you want people to be listening to more. It's nice. It's super easy to build. You're just selecting from your pre-built programs, and it includes the image, the title, when the shows are live, and a brief description. Okay. So I'm going to quickly take you to the schedule page because I know that's an important one as well. So the schedule on desktop provides you a nice big table that shows when all of your different programs are going to run, days of the week, times of the day. And you can actually click into any of these to get a full program landing page. And so this is a easily customizable page where you can put any additional information about the program, including things like host bios. It could be an about the show. And you can also do things like include a playlist so that listeners can really easily find past episodes. Okay, so that is the front end with the Heartland Signal. Now I'm going to take you into the back end of our website. And I'm just going to see if I can. Okay, so that's the front end. Let's dive into the back end. Let's see how these tools actually work. So when you log into the back end here, you're met with just a nice user-friendly dashboard that gives you some high-level insight into your publication. So the first is your reader revenue dashboard that lets you know things like how much you're generating in monthly recurring revenue, how much you've generated in the last 30 days, and how many recurring supporters you have. And then our Indie email is built right into the back end of the website. So you can see things like how many active contacts you have and your average open rate and click to open rate. Okay. So we know that the foundation of a modern digital newsroom is the on-air and online integrations. So I'm going to take you into the back end to show you how to set up those streams that I showed you on the front end, as well as some of those programs. Okay. So if we click into this stream page here, you're going to see the page itself is really, really simple. Where the details come is in the stream details section at the bottom, where you can, of course, name it, you can select the type, and then you can insert a URL for the stream itself. And you can choose the schedule source, and then you can actually build out your schedule day by day. Adding a new slot is incredibly easy. You just click add new time slot. You're going to select from your existing programs. So it has to be the ones that you've already built out. And then you can even choose if it's a replay or not. And then you just put in your start and your end date or start and end time. And when you save this, it's going to push all of those updates through to the front end of the website. Okay. So that is the schedule section. And the nice thing is, if you are an organization with multiple stations, you can really easily create a dedicated stream and independent calendar schedule for every single one of those. Okay, so let's go into the programs tab section. So this is where we're going to build out your central repository for the individual shows that you run, whether it's a radio show or a podcast. Um, I'm just going to click edit in here so you can take a look at what that custom block builder looks like. As with our pages and posts, you can really easily build sophisticated page and post layouts without having to know how to code. So you can see here, it's all just block based. You can really easily add and edit content pieces. And you can see we've got the two columns here that you can adjust how you see fit, but there's also this program details section where, similar to the schedule, you can do things like select your airtime, start and end dates, and you can include a playlist URL and a playlist embed. So this playlist embed is how you get that list of past episodes onto the pages. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how we set up some of those custom blocks that I showed you on the front end. So the first one I'm going to show you is just the how to set up the featured programs blocks. And so that's just under Indie Radio here. And what you do is you're going to be selecting from pre-built shows. And so this is, like I said, a manually populated block. So you select from the drop down any of the shows that you want to feature and you save, and then that just pushes them through live. The other option that we have is our program list block. So this differs from the featured programs in that you can have more than 5 on there. And so you can actually create like an interactive directory of your entire station lineup or a specific content group. Like I said, you don't have to have just 5, you can have more. So if you do have more than 5 shows that you want to promote, you can absolutely do that. So those are kind of the biggest parts of our radio first tools. And so the rest of the demo is going to be more along the lines of Indiegraf's existing products. So if you are familiar with Indiegraf, you might have seen some of these in the past. But I'm just going to take you really quickly through to our flexible form builder. So, we know that keeping the listeners tuned in is just step one. We want you to be able to take those passive listeners and turn them into an engaged community that you can regularly reach. One of the ways that you can do that is with custom forms and embeds. So of course, we have a really flexible form builder that's built directly into the back end of the website. So you can build custom forms in minutes for things like content submissions or event registrations. Then for things like really high impact moments, this could be something like a breaking news alert. Sorry, did not mean to open that one. Okay, so breaking news alert, an urgent fundraising ask, or maybe a major event. You can utilize our advanced pop-ups tool, and you can see here there's a wide variety of types that you can build. Again, like with the page and post editor, you do not need to know how to code. It is all block-based. Okay, now I'm going to take you back to the front end because, like Bridget mentioned, Indiegraf has recently brought Harken EMS into our product family. And so Harken differs from our standard forms and advanced pop-ups in that it is actually designed, so this is a Harken module here, it's actually designed to turn community curiosity into editorial content. So you can have things like a community tip line where people suggest topics, or you can have things like voting rounds where they vote on the topics they're most interested in learning about. And these modules can be embedded into your website or your email. And the Harken dashboard is going to provide a 360-degree view of your audience behavior, tracking superfans, repeat engagers, and it provides you with interactive maps and exportable insights. And like Bridget mentioned, the publishers that we work with are seeing 50% of opt-ins being brand new contacts. So Harken is really going to help your publication reach new audiences, which is huge. Okay. So let's go from here through to the Indiegraf Pay and Stripe connector, because as I mentioned, some of the tools that Indiegraf offers are our revenue generators. So Indiegraf Pay is a fully integrated connection with Stripe that offers a secure checkout experience for your readers. And because it's integrated, your reader data is going to flow instantly into your newsletter list. So there's no manual exports needed. And through our Stripe integration, you can accept any major credit cards, digital wallets like Google Pay. So Stripe is going to act like that single gateway for everything. And it really works to simplify your financial management. And so you can do things like manage one-time donations monthly or yearly, or you can even do tiered subscriptions like we have here. Okay. And we know that securing reader contribution is just the beginning because we want to turn that support into a lifelong, that supporter into like a lifelong fan. And so one of the ways that you can do that is by staying in their inbox consistently with a tool that is specifically built for creating high engagement newsletters, and that is Indie Email. So I'm just going to navigate back to the back end again here, and I'm going to go to our Indie Email tab. So Indie Email, like I mentioned, it is built directly into the back end of your website. So that means that your editorial team is not going to have to platform hop when they're pulling together content. So as with our website, our pages and post editors, Indie Email is also block-based. So again, you do not need to know any coding. And it also includes some pretty powerful automation tools. So you can do things like build nurturing journeys, a welcome series, or maybe even a re-engagement campaign for inactive readers. It's got some nice dashboarding here. We've got a lot of great templates that you can utilize, including what we call smart templates. These smart templates are things that when we drop your branding into your email account, it maps over to those smart templates, and they are any of those operational emails that you know you need, but you probably don't have the time to set up. So it could be things like you've got some impact survey follow-ups here, canceled subscription, a failed payment, all of those things that are really important communications with your readers that you probably don't have the time to manage. So when we create your account, we set up your branding, that branding flows through into these emails, just really making your life a lot easier. And of course, you would also have your branded templates as well. Like I mentioned, we've got that automation builder. So if you're familiar with, ActiveCampaign or MailChimp and you've used their automation builders, ours is similar. It's nice and powerful. You can select from a variety of triggers and a variety of actions. And they do a great job of making it. You can see I've got a lot of test automations in here, but they make it nice and easy to build out. It's a visual automation builder. So you can really easily see what's triggering it and what actions follow. Okay. So that's Indie Email. And the last thing that I will touch on is we do have a digital ad server, which is the only tool that we don't actually have integrated directly into the back end of our website. So while your content in your newsletter live in your Indie website, we separate the ad server into its own dedicated and secure environment. And what this is going to do is it allows you to give advertiser or sales staff access to just the ads without letting them get access to the editorial content. So I can always do a deeper dive into the ad manager if anyone is interested. It is designed to empower direct sold partnerships across website and newsletter. So it isn't just a programmatic connection. And it also has a whole ton of powerful tools to kind of automate your ad ops. So it could be defining start and end dates. It could be setting things like device targeting, keyword targeting, and it will automate that ad serving for you. And like I mentioned, you can give advertisers their own restricted login, which lets them view their ad performance in real time. It's a really segmented view, so they don't have access to anything else in the system. It's strictly how their ads are performing. And finally, for groups, so for publications that have more than one title, we can set up what we call channels, which are groups of either publications or ad zones. And it lets you span campaigns across multiple sites and publications, just really making your ad serving getting a lot easier. So that is the Indiegraf platform, focusing on those public media audio first tools. And of course, like Bridget mentioned, we are more than just a tech partner. We are a thought partner. We offer expert services. So, if you have a project that you want to work on that maybe you don't have the capacity for, connect with us and see if we can help you out with that. Because we've got a lot of people who are super passionate about things like lead gen campaigns and product audits and reader revenue campaigns. And we can offer these services on either a recurring or a one-time basis, because our goal is to provide affordable support without you having to make another full-time hire. So that is my demo, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have or take you through any features in more detail if you're interested.
Allison, I'll point out a really great question in the Q&A, which I can read out as
Yes.
well. And feel free, pop your questions in. This is the Q&A part of the show. As much as we all want to maintain independence and continue to serve our audiences in the unique ways that we do now, being aligned on the digital infrastructure could really make a difference in terms of how competitive we can be in the overall media landscape. How are you navigating the complexity of the landscape right now? How, if at all, are you in conversation with NPR, PRX, and now the new Bridge Fund? The more we use the same tools, the bigger I think our impact can be, but it sometimes feels like getting everyone on the same page is impossible. Heard.
Yes, that is a fantastic question. So, um, I feel like Erin does such a great job of speaking to this, but one thing the Indiegraph has done in the past bit is just really focus on collaborating more with the existing players in the ecosystem. So we have been in talks with PRX, and we are working with the Bridge Fund. We really do believe that collaboration is the path forward. We know that there's a lot of walled gardens out there that say, use our tools and everything, your dreams will come true. But we know that's not always possible. And we also know that keeping you trapped in a tech stack that doesn't let you connect to other tools is not helping anyone. So we really do, our goal this year is to open our tech stack up even more, to provide different ways to connect to different tools, and to continue partnering with other organizations in the ecosystem to make sure that we are actually providing you guys the tools and the support that you need. That's part of the reason why we brought, Harkin into the product family, because we are doing things not just with collaboration, but also just making sure that, like we are the products that have high value to our publishers, we want to make sure that you have access to, and, that we are collaborating with those other industry players. Okay.
Are you offering podcast hosting? It's a follow-up question.
Carol, do you want to take that one? We do have podcast and audio tools, but
Yeah, at this moment we are not offering hosting, especially because PRX is it's such an amazing platform, and I think likely we will try to leverage their resources better. So at this moment we are not offering podcast hosting.
yeah. So instead, you would have whoever your podcast is hosted with, but you can do the embeds of the episodes or the playlists.
Someone
Yeah.
comments
So
they love
the people,
Dovetail, yeah.
yeah, we've met with the team at PRX and Dovetail, and we could not be more impressed. They were phenomenal. They not only do they have a wonderful product, but they are really mission aligned, and so we're really excited to work with them more.
And this has been something I've really noticed in my time at Indiegraph coming over from Harkin, which is that like it does not serve the needs of the newsrooms to try and build duplicative products, right? Like I've really seen that the team is interested in adding to the landscape versus just building for the sake of building, if that makes sense,
Mhm.
which I
Yeah.
appreciate.
Yeah, and we do work with other partners, for example, Empower Local. A lot of our publishers connect with them to access some passive revenue streams through advertising. So, if there's a partner in particular that you or your publication are working with that you're like, we cannot live without this group or this partner, let us know. We are super happy to meet with them and learn how we can connect with them or work with them.
All right, next question. And I'm reading these out also for the benefit of people watching the recording. We're currently looking at new options for CMS, but have a CRM and payment platform we're comfortable with. Are there options to use some parts of the Indiegraf platform while integrating in with our existing revenue platforms? Thank you for that question.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And absolutely. So, like I mentioned, Indiegraph does not want to be another walled garden. So, if you are using a different payment platform, and maybe I'll have Carol jump in and just say the ones that we connect with the easiest. But there are certain ones that we can connect with really easily, certain ones that there's probably a little bit more discussion. But if there is a tool that you want to continue using, absolutely. We are also offering more standalone products. So, for example, Harkin is one that you can purchase as a standalone or as a part of our full operating system. Indie Ads Manager is also another one where you can access it as a standalone. And as we continue developing our products, you're probably going to see more standalone options appear. So, yeah, if there's something that you're interested in, if there's a piece of our technology that you would like to access, but maybe you're not sure about the full OS, again, just connect with us and let us know what would work for your publication or your organization, because our goal is to work with you.
Carol, did you want to provide any additional information in terms of what can connect?
I think we are open to evaluate your payment solution. As Allison said, there are some that are very easy for us to connect and will integrate very well with our products. There are others that are a bit more tricky. So it will be like a case-by-case evaluation, basically. But whatever your decision, we just want to make sure that we are pushing like the right information through your platform so you don't lose data, you don't lose subscribers, and etc.
Yeah, exactly.
Next question, which has a plus sign to it. What tools do you have for music stations? Can you integrate with music libraries to present now playing on the homepage? And is there archival/on-demand listening for select shows?
Carol, could I have you jump in on that one?
Sure. So about music libraries, that is interesting. So the now playing feature that Allison showed us, this is part of our live stream integration. If you're having if it's not a live stream, then we will rely on embed. So basically, you need to upload all of your content to a third-party platform, create an embed, and place it on our sites. Otherwise, if it is a live stream, then we can have this setting that Allison shared with you. If you go up a little bit, Allison, please, we have something that we call live now block, that is synced with the player. So that's how we can display what is currently playing at this moment. But the link of the stream is inside the website. We are reading the stream as we go. So does that answer your question? So if it is like a podcast show, you can create an embed on the platform that you are uploading your podcasts and then copy paste into our site. If it is a live stream, then we can create a live stream element and store the live stream link into our websites like this, these options that Allison is showing.
So follow on then, what would that mean for showing songs and artist names during the live stream?
That is interesting. So at this moment, the information that we are populating at the live stream comes from your program page. So the current program title is what is being displayed. I'm not sure if it would be possible at this moment to display extra information unless your audio stream feeds comes with metadata tag. And then we can definitely enhance this feature to display an extra field that comes with your audio stream. Basically, because like the way that we have this set up, we are feeding information from the schedule page. So that's why we are only displaying the program name, because this is being read from a schedule. But if your current audio stream includes an extra layer of information that is called metadata, and it is transmitting the song that is currently playing, we can definitely enhance that feature to support this extra information.
Thank you. And I think it's clear from this conversation that like we're very willing to see like what solutions we can offer for your particular needs, right? So like please again, don't hesitate to reach out and just to see what's possible. Very willing to have that conversation. I'm going to cue the Jeopardy theme music in all of our brains and make sure that we've given time for people to ask any questions that they have before we close out today's call. Once again, you can please feel free to just get that application in if you're interested in that subsidy for our tech and services, just to get it rolling. Again, you're not promising to do anything, but it's a good idea to get that in if you're interested in learning more. I just want to make sure we addressed everyone in the room's questions before we release you to the rest of your day. So final call for questions.
And I do just want to say, if anyone is interested in a more deep dive demo, or if there's a feature that you have questions about, connect with me and let me know. I am happy to take you through the platform one-on-one and just answer any questions. I know asking them in a group setting isn't always everyone's favorite, so just know that is always available.
And before we close out today's call, I will turn to my colleagues, Carol and Allison, if there's anything else you want to be sure that our guests come away understanding today.
If you have any questions, please reach out. We are very interested to know more about you, your platform, how it is your current workflow. And we are definitely open to explore like different setups, different solutions. Thank you.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I always like to say I don't do sales. I help publishers evaluate the platform. And we are really motivated to develop the tool to meet your needs. So if that means you just have a bunch of ideas you want to throw our way, we are happy to hear them. We are actively developing this program. We are actively developing these relationships and these partnerships. So absolutely now is the time to tell us if you have feedback or if you have ideas. We're looking to hear it.
Then we have one more question that came in through the Q&A here, which is what does it mean to apply? If you go to that website that we provided here, it's literally just a form on the website that you fill out with some basic information. Allison, I can only show the first sort of line of questions here. Is there anything you want to add about what they should be prepared with to apply?
The application itself is pretty simple. So really, we're just asking you for a little bit of basic information about the station, and there are some questions about whether or not, or if you're not a nonprofit, are you serving that geographic or that community need? If you don't know what to put in there, you can of course always reach out and we can help you workshop that. But the form itself is quite basic. We don't need a whole ton of information.
And the follow-up there is this just to see if you qualify or to actually get the subsidy?
This will actually get we should actually get the approval or, not for the subsidy. So we actually will review and approve based on this. If we do have follow-up questions, if something's not clear, we'll always connect with the applicant to chat through. But this should provide us all the information that we need to know if you qualify. And again, you just need to be based in the US. If you're a nonprofit, that's ideal. If you're a for-profit, then you need to meet that geographic need or that community need.
I would just consider this like information gathering on both ends to evaluate the fit, right? So if you want to see like you want to go to your boss and be like, hey, I found out that we qualify for this program and we can save this much money and here's what we could get. Like it's the start of a conversation just to give you all the like exact information relative to your situation and context that you may need. Okay, well, with that, I am going to stop sharing my screen. I haven't seen any other questions come in. We do really invite you to follow up. Sometimes you get off a call and you think of something later, like, please, you can't bother us. This is literally our job. So like, please reach out and like ask your questions. I really appreciate all of your time today. I appreciate your interest in Indiegraf. Thank you so much for allowing us to share more about what we're offering to you. Thank you very much for coming. And we look forward to hearing from you soon.